I will start with breathing in count 001. Breathing out count 001. Breathing in count 002. Breathing out count 002. Breathing in count 003. Breathing out count 003. When we conscious enough and when we focus enough, we can use our internal system to consider, to observe, to navigate, to think better about the topic or the matter that we want to consider. One idea that is very interesting for me recently is the issue or the problem that as human now we are facing the issue of learning and adapting to the change that keep changing faster and faster. The point is that when we cannot learn fast enough, when we cannot adapt ourselves fast enough, normally it will create misalignment that accumulate over time. It look like the build up of electrical charge that strong enough and it can shock us. So this issue or this problem seem to be the very clear and straight and obvious issue or problem for most of human. But it seems we don't really understand it clearly, and it seems we don't know what is the cost clearly, and then we also don't know about the solution clearly as well. When we consider about human evolution, about hundreds, thousand years ago, that we may live in a small tribe in the forest or in the jungle, or we live in the cave, as we call gather hunter. Normally we will need to move most of the time to find the food, to escape from the dangerous thing that's happened every day. This, we are not talking about or just about this is good or bad or right or wrong, but we just simply consider this is the evolution. This is the way that we evolve as a human, and is the very main part or important part for us in the physical level or in the biological level. And if we don't really understand this evolution mechanism clearly, that means we cannot solve the current issue, the current challenge, the current problem correctly. When we would like to solve about this problem, one of the idea is stuck with me recently is that about the idea of doing hard thing. And to me, firstly, it seems something that we not sure and we not clear why we need to do the hard thing, because naturally as the human, from our evolution perspective, we will, our mechanism will try to save the energy as much as possible. So it is the explanation why we know, but we cannot do, or we don't want to do, or why we look lazy or procrastinate. Because in gather hunter environment, food is not plenty like in this time and it will be difficult to find food, and we may not get the food like few days or several days. We may not eat few days or several days. That's happen naturally and consistently, and that means our body, our biology will adapt to that very long time. And if in the present moment and time, if we don't live our life aligned to that natural tendency, it will create misalignment or accumulate misalignment that accumulate on our body, on the biological level, and it look like the wrong buildup of electrical charge that if it is accumulate enough, it can shock us. So this is not the we don't need to consider this is the only the failure or only the mistake. But later than we can consider is as the feedback data to inform us that we live out of alignment with who we really are from the evolution perspective. That means to do hard thing will be the idea that is more reasonable, sensible, really makes sense as the practical solution for more human. But in the real reality, and to be practical, it doesn't mean we need to do something that too extreme to destroy ourselves too much. But rather than we consider that in the modern life, way of life that create by better technology, create more convenient and more comfortable thing, and that can be the trap. So we don't just that the convenient thing or the comfortable thing is good or bad. It is neutral. Good or bad, it depend on our perspective, and it depend on our interpretation or our thinking. And everything have at least two sides, the upside and the downside. So the upside of convenient thing or comfortable thing is that it give us short-term pleasure, but in the long term, it can be trapped and give us the damage, accumulate damage or accumulate misalignment for our health, for both our physical health, biological health, and even our mental health. Why the doing hard thing idea? It have the downside. In the short term, it may create inconvenient thing, uncomfortable thing to us. But in the long term, it create the sustainable, better health, both physical health, biological health, or even mental health. Because, not because it is the good idea, even though it's made the good idea, but it's really because it's correctly aligned with our human tendency or our human mechanism naturally. For me, myself, to choose to do the hard thing, at least one thing or two things, every day is one of the most changing action I ever take, and it create the output that we can use as the feedback to be the new input for our internal system to process, to consider, to reflect, to take the new action, and then it will create the another new output. And this is the infinite improvement loop that most of AI model is using right now to improve itself. And this is one of the most important thing that we can learn from AI. We don't need to fear AI, but we really need to learn from AI and to be able to being the best or the good point of AI in order to improve ourselves. Because we can also consider that AI is one of the most important human output as well. And if it is human output or any output, as the human, we can choose to use this as the input to improve our internal system, and then we can create the better external output always. This is the most beautiful thing about being born as human, that we can have this choice, that we can have this option, and we can choose. Most of the time that if we are conscious enough, focused enough, and be in the level to long enough to access to the better idea and the better action and to take that better action. In this real present reality, change will keep changing faster and faster and will create more and more accumulate misalignment. It will create, it look like it will create. If we don't learn and adapt in fast enough, it will create more and more accumulate build up of electrical shock for us. That is very simple and that is very obvious. But if we can learn, if we can adapt better and faster, if we can build our protection for health, physical health and mental health. It's like the mode that can prevent the enemy to invade, attack our town, or is maybe like the dam that keep a lot of water and it can prevent flood and it can also be able to release the water in the summer or in the hotter season, so we can prevent the downside or the damage side, and we can also use the upside or the benefit side of human natural tendency evolution. I think that is something, that is the way that we choose to stop or slower or go back to where we are, to inside ourselves, to our nature, to who we are, to what we are. And when we understand about ourselves clearly as the origin or the original point clearly, as the reference point for everything clearly, because everything is relative. The meaning that we give to everything is related to where we are, to the origin, to the original point, to the reference point. That is ourselves or inside ourselves or inside the journey of evolution of being human. That we need to go back, we need to learn, we need to examine. Deeply, profoundly, deliberately. And then from that point, we really find the exit, we really find the solution. Inside is only the way out, is true and is very true. Over time, as each day, each hour, each minute, each second pass, we can prove this all the time. And when we can do that, we will get the evidence, we will get the proof that we come at the right direction. We are doing the right thing. We are getting the right result. We are getting the right effect. And we are taking the right course. So this is very simple and it is very clear to me. And I think maybe some of you may be thinking the same, maybe wondering the same, maybe figuring out the same. And if it can be useful a little bit, if it can be helpful a little bit, this clip or this video will achieve its meaning already. And I think that is one of the most important thing as the human, that we can find our meaning and we can achieve our meaning at any moment, at the present moment. So that is for today, for this present moment. See you later until the moment that we see each other again. Bye.